Welcome to episode 3 of the Stone Ape Game 2 Formal Alliance 30-player custom game. We've got 5 teams with 6 players each, and we are now deep into the game, down to really just this handful of players left. When you look at where we are now, basically my team is composed of myself, Yars, and Macomer. And we're in this section right here. And GB's this blue line. So that's the team that's left. And we've been in an alliance with JSE and Gingy, and Awesome Guy's got 2 stars left that are getting decimated. And we've been reaching out and trying to get in relationships with other teams. As of yesterday, we finally got into an arrangement with Team Jubalfet. So that's Belson, Grasshopper, Hex, and Gisney. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and Karen. Which, honestly, I've been fighting Karen this whole game, so it pains me a bit to stop attacking him. But so be it. So you can see we've agreed to give some stars in the north, and there are kind of battle lines drawn with Scamp. What he doesn't know is he's about to get collapsed on. And you see some Lawrence ships coming in, but he's about to get collapsed on. You see some Darmody ships coming in, they're about to get collapsed on. So all those threats are going to go away really quickly, and those should not be my main concern. What is the main concern is the south. And what you have down here is Yars doing his best to try to fend off the remnants of Bellum, which he's basically dead. But then you have a combination of Kane, who we're in good shape against, but then Bimbo, which is the biggest player in the game. Now, what should happen is, hopefully, we can just hold this off while we push in here. The north attacks, and Bimbo gets attacked from Gisney up here. We just need to not lose ground in the south too much. So, for me, I'm the green circle up here, and I've got everything now flowing from west to east. I've got 1,200 ships here. I've got about 1,000 ships there, and we're gonna hold. We're gonna kind of keep pushing in and try to get into here. And if I could get down south, that would probably not be a terrible thing either. But right now, I need the north to do the declaration of war and attack, because right now we're the only target. So that's where things stand. Early cycles of cycle 15. We'll do a quick check on intel. You can see Yars and I are in the top 3, which is great. From economy, Yars is 2, I'm 4, not bad. For industry, we're 3 and 4, so not bad. Science, we're 2 and 3, so we're doing good. The where we're not doing well is because we've been fighting this whole game is in ship count. So, but because Gisney is also the one that's so high up here, I'm hoping that this they'll start fighting each other, and we'll be able to catch up. So that's the game plan. It's very treacherous right now, but we'll see if we can hold in the south, push in the middle, and then we'll, of course, at some point need to flip on the north, but we need to live long enough to do that. Cycle 16. The war is on. We have seen some declarations of war, and we've seen now Team Jubalfet engaging in what they said they were going to do, which is attacking Team Lofty. The beautiful thing about this from our perspective is, well, it will remove Scamp from the game, who's attacking me. It will remove Lawrence from the game, who just threw like 1,000 ships into me. So like 25% of his army just went into me. I was like telling him to stop. So here's the other thing I should probably be transparent about. Now that you're watching this video and it's long after the fact, the fear here is Team Jubalfet wins. And so I need to be careful in getting them too powerful. And so what was happening is they declared war, or we made this arrangement a couple days ago, and then the whole rest of the board was still attacking me, my team, and weakening themselves. So I basically told Lofty, So I basically told Lofty, it's not public, but I told him here's what I'm doing. I was very careful not to give them. I did not share the vision of Jubal Fett's team. I told them they should prepare their home. Like I told, let me just show you. I said proceed with caution. Hey, don't say I didn't warn you. You may want to say some of those ships headed my way. And then I said, then he was talking about these 700 ships that are impacting him. I said, no, I'm talking about your home stars. You may want to send them back there, just a hunch. So, I wasn't explicit, but I was very obvious. And they could have seen very well from the board that the way ships were not just being destroyed and stars were transferring, that there was not a battle. It wasn't super well hidden. And so, but my point was, if I don't want Team Jubal Fett to get fed off of my sacrifices. They're going to get these stars, but I need them to be weakened in the process as well and not get them for free, because then they're just the monster that I helped create, which to some degree would be the case either way. But had I not made this deal, Macomer's dead and they just keep pushing into me. The reason that this works for them is because now I'm able to send all my ships, and Yars is able to, instead of having to defend the north, which I told him I would, and I would have, I'm sending them south to deal with them, and in the south instead. So this works out really. Who gets the best of this is Jubal Fett's team. So I have to be really careful. And so I keep having Grasshopper trying to, he's sending me money and said, let's tech up. And I'm like, not comfortable with that. So here's the agreement that I made. I said, and I'm going to just show you what I said. I said, I'm fine syncing up on techs that match what the enemies have, because if they flipped on us or we flipped on them, the enemy would give us those anyway. So when we're talking weapons and some of the other non-essential tech, that's fine. I'm not okay giving away our only advantage. And so in this case, if you look at our big advantage, it's I don't really like the range and banking. It's not that important. But it's the manufacturing, essentially. It's manufacturing. Those extra two, and we're pulling ahead a little bit more all the time as I get more science. It makes a big difference in the army count. And so that's really the one thing I said. And they're not giving us any tech yet, really. Now, I think it was either Hex, one of these two was going to get terraforming. And right now our terraforming's Macomer. Right, so it makes sense. I said it makes sense for us to trade weapons for terraforming. I'm not comfortable giving away manufacturing for the foreseeable future, because eventually we're gonna have to fight them anyway. So on the tech front, so on the tech front, that's the deal. We're in a formal alliance now with these guys, because that was part of the deal. And then, what it does is it gives us vision. So you can see now 3,000 ships from Belson, and he's going to come in here, and then, Scamp is just dead. Not a scam has been scammed. So, Scampade, I'm sorry, but you are dead. Now, you look at Grasshopper, who's also pushing out and attacking. And then you look at Hex, who's going to go and should very easily look at, so Lawrence, 3,000 ships. Hex, more than double. Now, granted, there's a lot of them over here, but he still has way more ships. Plus, Lawrence is sending all his ships. He's got crap down here. So he's basically just sending all his stuff away, completely undefended. Really not a good move. I don't know the long-term play here. Now, one thing Lofty is saying is his team wasn't playing to win. They're playing for fun, or they're playing for whatever. It's hard. Like there wasn't a lot of strategic value because of course at some point you're going to have to battle these people, and they've left themselves completely vulnerable. So what that means now is you have Scamp that's going to die. You have Lawrence is going to die, and you have Darmody that's going to die pretty quickly, and that's going to leave Lofty with just Lofty. Now, so what I want to have happen though is I want Lofty to not attack me, and I want Darmody to stop attacking me. The problem is, their push was coming down this way towards Yars, and so I'm trying to defend it, and they're sending everything here. They may just do that out of spite, saying we're dead, so we're just going to punish Team Graymason. It's probably what's going to happen. And at that point, I'm going to need to pivot again. And if Team Bellum, Kane, and Bimbo are willing, we would actually join forces with them. I don't know that they're willing to do it, but I certainly will. I will flip on Jubal Fett to win the game. But they may not. They may not. But that's I would prefer to not have to do that, but I'm absolutely willing to. I need Jubal Fett's team to not grow too fast. I need us to grow. So again, I need to get down here and make sure we're not losing ground, and I need to cut them off. The problem is the problem with my plan of just cutting them off with Lofty is, what does Lofty do? Is he going to push in on the north, or just say, screw it, I'm dead, just suicide into Graymason? That could absolutely be the thing. If he's like, because if he's like, I want to give Bellum's team the best chance to win now, since I can't, their best chance is taking us out. And I got to be careful with how much pre-planning I do and sharing intel, saying I'm willing to flip on the north with the south because they share that with the north, and then I'm screwed too. So it's a very fine diplomatic line that I'm walking on right now. But when you look at it, this whole branch here, I had this star for a moment. I'm going to get it back in an hour and 7 minutes. And then I've got a huge I've just got way more ships than they can manage, and so I think I try to take the Darmody stars, but again, I don't want to trigger Lofty, so I have to think through this more. And it seems like we're defending pretty well down here in the south. So yeah, so that's where we're at. If you take a quick look again on where things stand with ships, total ships, it's still Bimbo and Gizny way out front. And see, now Bimbo has a hard decision of which way to go, north or south. A quick Cycle 16 update. You guys should have killed me when you could have. The whole galaxy was against me again. And again, right when I'm on the ropes, right when my team's about to die, you cut a deal. And so Jubal Fett cut a deal, and it was a deal that worked great for us because it kept us alive, but basically it gives him all the north and gives him the win. So what of course I'm going to do? I go to the other team that's a powerful team, Bellum, with Bimbo and Kane, and I lay out my case. I said it's not lost on me that if I execute this plan, Jubal wins. That we just clash in the south and we all die. And so I have a conversation, and I said, why don't we just do something like this? Why don't we just not fight and we just go and take the stars in the middle of Lofty? And what that does for me is it means Yars and Kane's team, we don't lose all our ships and become just fodder for the north. We also grow while they're growing, and then we duke it out. And so we talked, and we went through a bunch of details, and ultimately immediate ceasefire of hostilities. So that means down here, no more attacks launched. Whoever has what they have at the end, that's what they get. It's just clean. the next thing, the borders between us are as they currently stand. Gray, Yar, and Kane push into the center. We agree that we'll agree on the paths later, but the rules for engagement are whatever's closest. So just take what's closest and don't do some big leap to try to get ahead. But essentially what that looks like now is we're probably going to get this clump. They're going to get that clump. And then the north we'll have to figure out. But we should get our fair share. Bimbo strikes eastward, which is Gizny, and maybe just a few stars along the side. And that is important for me because that means Gizny with his 13,000 ships and Bimbo with his 16,000 ships, 10,000 more than me, are fighting this guy who's got 8,000 more than me. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. That is the main thing because he's like, yeah, we're sending them all to you guys. About face, go blow each other up. We grow while they're growing in the north. No one gives any more tech to Team 1. Now, I was very adamant about not giving them manufacturing. I did give them weapons. But that's okay. We want Gizny to have those to fight in this guy. But no more. They're on their own. And then we trade with each other on an individual basis, but likely terraforming for manufacturing. And then finally, number 7 is that Yars and Kane will be in a formal alliance. So that's the deal. That's the deal. We got a shot to win. Cycle 17, my mega alliance in the north and in the south continue to go as expected. You'll notice one thing about this map, and I've never seen a map this big with this much vision. I have vision of the entire galaxy except this little corner here, which is just Gizny, and like 5 stars in the middle. It's a little dead spot, but that'll be gone soon. I see everything because Macomber has a formal alliance with the entire north. Yars has a formal alliance with the entire south. And so yeah, we see everybody's everything. So let's go through what's going on. Basically, Lofty's odd man out. Everybody's just jumping on Lofty. We are executing our plan in the south, where we have Yars going in and taking these group of stars. Kane is taking this group of stars. I'm coming right in here and taking this group of stars. I was hoping Gizny, who still has 50% more ships than me, and not that less amount of production, and Bimbo, who still has double the ships that I do and actually has more production. I was hoping those two would fight, and they haven't yet. They're both basically saying they see the blood in the water and everyone's just taking a piece of Lofty. And I've been talking to Lofty, hey, can you please give me your stars and not fight me and fight the north, or fight basically anybody, maybe I don't care. And he's kind of helpful, he's moved some ships away, but you can see there's 260, but also he's not bending over backwards to help me either. I think he's helping the south the most, but either way, you can see green has encroached up in here. This is going to turn pink. And the north here has gotten most of Scamp. This Hex is going to be about gone. When you look over here, you can see this is Hex, who's about the same size as me, but I'm going to start pulling away soon. He's going to eat up Lawrence, who does have, but he has nothing. He's dead. Lawrence is dead. Lawrence is dead. Scamp is dead. Darmodia is dead. And then you see Belson here's got 4,000 ships, 3,000. There's 7,000 of his ships heading away from my team. Spectacular. You have Macomber, who he's basically gotten 2 stars. He's gotten kind of nothing. But if he sends everything over here, he can either, if we were going to attack the north, he's in position to just pick off this guy, pick off Karen, because he's right literally in the smack dab middle of his entire place. And then you also have, he could also jump in and help me with Lofty, finishing off Lofty. So wonderful. The question now is, what do I do? Do I attack the north? Do I attack the south? Do they attack each other? None of the three of us are strong enough to fight the other two. And so it's a question of who thinks, is there a clear leader? If we become the clear leader, and it's a little scary that we're becoming strong, they unite against us. From a tech perspective, there's only two people on this team. It's Bimbo with weapons and Kane with terraforming. You see, he's got the 50 science versus our guys. Oh, that's wrong. Our guy with about the same. So right now we're okay. Although Kane's going to get more. So I think we stay with the south. The north. The north is they don't have anyone with the weapons and the size individually, but they do have 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are strong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, who am I missing? Who's their fifth is Jubal, sixth is... Oh, Karen. I always forget Karen's with them. Yeah, because the north is still pretty strong here. That's a lot. I think where we go next will be dependent on the distribution of the remaining stars from Lofty. And then going and killing whoever's the stronger of the three, assuming it's not me. Probably stick with the south and push north. It's probably the best move for me. But then we have to be careful we do that. We're not leaving our backside open for Kane to go and sweep in and kill us. Going to be really treacherous right now. We're not out of the woods. Cycled 18. Nothing substantially new this hour or this turn. Basically, we've continued to consume Lofty, Darmody, Scamp, Lawrence are all being eaten. Had a little bit of a run-in where I saw Grasshopper was coming down, so I broke my formal alliance. That'll be gone in 8 hours. And then it also corresponded with Karen trying to snipe the star, but I was able to blow him up instead with the help of Lofty moving off the star. We do have this interesting 45-45 star that Lofty's creating as a nice target for us. But yeah, so now the enemy's Lofty's team is pretty much gone. It's a matter of hopefully Kane, Bimbo, and my team attacking the north. And the reason I think that's still going to be the case is because the north is still by far the strongest. Well, not by far, but they are still the strongest. Even though if you look at the leaderboard, you may not understand, that may not be apparent, but when you look at the stats, they still have 5 players who are all pretty strong. So now we wait for basically Kane to get into position and everyone to be able to attack the north. Cycle 19. Things have kind of hit the fan. Let's go back about 12 hours. And so Lofty's dead, right? He's, I guess, not totally dead. Technically, he's still got 10,000 ships and a giant star with 50 industry, but that's beside the point. Star count-wise, he's dead, and his team is all but gone. And so now we are waiting on the Kane and Bimbo team to help us push north. And if you look, we would have basically, 60-70% of the galaxy. We easily win. I got a little nervous when I started asking about timing, and Kane said, well, I need to group up. I don't know, it was like on one of these stars over here. I'm like, why do you have to group up down there? Why wouldn't you be grouping up there? Didn't say anything because obviously I don't want to poke the bear and act all paranoid any more than I normally am. And then I saw this, and it was Hex pushing in on Karen, and I said, okay, if you're going to be pushing in, that means you're consuming him. I need to act now. I can't wait. And so I launched immediately in the south, and I started taking these stars here on the edge. It happened to be when Yars was asleep, so he got a little bit late of a start. But we're pushing in, and I've already gotten about 4 or 5 stars, and Karen's already down quite a bit. The problem, of course, then became who's really going to be with us. And that's when Bimbo declared war on Yars, and then Kane declared war on Yars. And that's when it was like, okay, the fear is real, and we are back in the wrong side of a 2v1. The other thing I had noticed was that Gizny did attack one of Lofty Stars that Bimbo had and took it, and then abandoned it and gave it back. So I'm like, all right, these teams are actually working together. And in that world, there's really nothing I can do other than play Kingmaker and say, okay, who do I think deserves the win? Kane and Bimbo turned on me, so we give the win to Hex. I went and said, you know what? I said, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna give you guys the win. And basically, then Hex started to tell me what I needed to do. And I just called him Bossy Pants. And then, and then I started thinking about it more. And essentially what they're doing again is saying what they did with Lofty. They sat back and did nothing, let Lofty's team fight, and then swooped in and killed him. Now they're going to let me fight with Kane, swoop in and kill me and Kane. And I don't know. I don't want to reward that playstyle. I don't like the I do nothing, let you guys fight. I know to some degree that's part of the strategy, but I feel like I don't like that passive playstyle, and I don't want to reward it. So maybe I just keep. And the other thing is, if I want to win, I got to take stars. And so right now I'm best positioned to take his stars, the North Star. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep pushing. And we still have 24 hours. I still have full vision. This will be gone in about 12 to 16 hours. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't have a lot of hope that we'll win at this point. I do know that we can determine who will win at a minimum. And but I kind of want to play it out a little bit more to see if things shift enough. And I don't have a good game plan on what to do with our team's resources to put us in a position where they would fight each other that isn't destroying my team. And I don't really think we can win. We can't win. Just looking at ship count, you see Bimbo and Gizny alone are too much. Like, those are the two teams that I needed to fight each other, and the fact that they wouldn't do it completely killed any hope we had of just saying screw it and fight it. Because again, they haven't, as far as I know, traded tech. Like on the Kane side, we're still 4 levels of manufacturing up and a level of terraforming and keeping up with weapons. On the Hex side, we're up 4 levels of weapon and 1 level of terraforming and 1 level of manufacturing, because I think Hex is doing manufacturing and they're going to swap it around. So tech-wise, we're still on day 19, king of the hill. But basically Kane and Bimbo said they talked about it, and they knew if they worked with us, they would just lose to us. They don't want to play for second. They want to play for first. I can at least respect that decision. Although I think doing what they're doing now with fighting us just gives the win to Hex and rewards of the playstyle of the North that's really just passive. So this is probably the end. I'll just do a quick rundown. All war's been declared. Hex has been sitting idle. It's a cluster star grab on Karen's stars. It'll be nice to at least see Karen's gone. And then there is some attacks coming in here from the bad guys. That they're coming at us. So let's see what happens. We're probably gonna die now. Cycle 20. This is the last cycle before all of the declarations of war expire. or yeah, they begin. So let's go through what's happening. I think last I left it, it was like, hey, who do I want to make the king? Since then, I've waffled a few times, and I'm trying to figure out still how to win. So I'm still in the how do we win mode, and the best I could come up with was this. Most of the enemy ships are between Gizny and Bimbo, and they're all in the east. And so why do I just not fight them? What if Team Bellum is just Kane and Bimbo? So what I said is, okay, Yars, you are at 32,000 ships, almost 500 an hour versus 340 an hour, right? So a big double their size. So if you kill Kane, even if you lose some other things, kill Kane. Priority 1, kill Kane. Because what that does is, the reason that Kane and Bimbo switched and flipped on us is because they still think they could win. Once Kane's dead and it's just Bimbo, any hope of them winning is gone. And so my hope is we kill Kane and then can tell Bimbo and make the deal that if he joins us, we'll get him second place, which is the best he'll be able to do at that point. And then, boom, we deal with whatever mess happened up there. So really, that's the goal. That's the hope right now, is to get Bimbo on board by killing his partner, which seems counterproductive or counterintuitive, but that's the hope. And so you can see, we've got about 12 more hours before the formal alliance expires and they're back at war. And I'm not counting all these ships. I just know there's going to be a lot of exploding ships in about 12 hours. In the center, they actually did a pretty nice job. This whole section was purple, was Karen, and I actually got like 2/3 of it already. I'm going to get a few more. So I'm very pleased with that. Very pleased, actually. You have Lofty, who's still got 10,000 ships, by the way, which is still half of what I've got, and going in here and messing with Gizny and taking some of his stuff. So, okay. And my thought is, I'm not this Lofty, giant Lofty star that's got 50 in industry. I'm not touching, and I'm not going east of that. This is as far east. This is the line. To the right of that could be purple. Don't give a crap. South of that, kill Kane. And then so what's left is me dealing with Hex, Grasshopper, Belson. Finishing off Karen, but Karen's pretty much finished off at this point. Like, it's down to the point where Karen's not paying that much attention. Like, we picked off these 3 stars when he could have, and he still, look at this. Karen wanted to, he could easily just take out any one of these or multiple, but not really paying much attention. So down to 3 enemies in the north. Now, again, I'm hoping that the fact that Gizny won't help his allies because he's afraid that Bimbo will attack, and Bimbo won't spend all his ships down to defend Kane because he's afraid Gizny will attack. So the fact that there's these 2 massive armies, I'm hoping makes it as if there are none, because they're going to be locked into this Cold War and not be able to effectively influence the rest of the map. They may work together, but one of the reasons why I think that's possible is because if you look at the tech for Bimbo, right? Let's just look at terraforming weapons and manufacturing. They're getting terraforming. Kane's doing terraforming. Bimbo's on weapons, a little bit ahead of me. So 13, 18, 10. 13, 18, 10 against 13, 14, 13. So, and they caught up. They used to be further in terraforming. So they're doing their own tech. They're not trading tech from what I can tell. And that means they are vastly, they're 3 levels behind weapons. They are actually ahead in manufacturing from Bimbo, which is great. And terraforming, they're the same, but we're still ahead because Yars is the highest science and it's pulling ahead in terraforming. So we're going to keep pumping out terraforming weapons slowly with Macomber, keeping manufacturing going. So how long can we last in the north? Macomber, big picture, 15,140. 13,120. So in theory, Macomer's bigger than Belson, but he did move a lot of his ships out to these front lines. Belson did too. Belson's got, some over here, but he accumulated another 5,000 ships, and then a few smaller pieces. So I need to contend with that, because if you look at Macomer, he doesn't have anything that size. Over here, he's got some hundreds of ships. Over here, some thousands of ships. So I have my big boy fleet of 500 making his way up. I've got another 1,000 that'll come up this way. I've got another 600 here. There's 600. There'll be another 1,000 coming up there. So I'm coming, but Macomer may lose some land. And as it turns out, he may lose some of these stars, and I may end up just taking the rest and then trying to push on my own and get bigger myself. But I think the goal for me is to avoid the east, kill Kane, priority 1. Priority 2 would be kill Belson and then Grasshopper, and basically own this northwest corner away from where all these ships are. And if I can even get Belson dead, and Kane dead, just that, Bimbo comes on board, then it's me, and if I lose Macomer, right, then it's just me and Yars and Bimbo against Hex, Gizny. We win. So that's what I need to do. Don't fight purple. Get one of them to come on board. Kill Kane to force that. Take out the corner to make them come across. Hopefully they won't. Win. Cycle 21. We are at war. And you would think when I would be at war, I wouldn't have vision of the entire map. Because war is more than just fighting and tactic and strategy. It's also about intel and the relationships you build along the way. In this case, I have a relationship with Jewish Star Empire. It's very well known. I've not been shy about it. Kane forgot that he made a formal alliance with Jewish Star Empire. I have Jewish Star Empire's API. And so even though we're at war with Kane, I see everything he sees. And so Yars and I are able to very well coordinate our attacks because we know exactly what's coming. It's pretty good. But it doesn't just stop there. There's another little dot over here that seems completely inconspicuous. Spymort. Spymort's been dead for 2 weeks now. And greedy Gizny has been saying, if you give me your banking money, I'll let you live. And so Spymort agreed, and then said, but I still have my 3 economy money that I'm saving up cycle after cycle after cycle. Well, I gave Spymort 80 credits about 2 days ago as an investment to be able to get the formal alliance with Gizny, who now I see Gizny's area as well. And so if that's not enough, there's also one more little thing that happened. If you recall, just over 24 hours ago, the North declared war on my ally Mac. And Belson had this massive 5,200 ships heading into his territory, which was completely unable to be fended off. Belson forgot to declare war on Macomer. He forgot to declare war. So Grasshopper and Hex are fighting. Technically, Belson's defending my ally. Now, I'm certain that once he realizes the mistake, he was probably asleep when it should have expired, and never clicked and looked to see that he forgot to actually declare war. And so, well, Belson could take the advantage and push into my base. But I'm further along, and so what I'm going to do instead is go take Belson stars. And so Belson then has to take those 5,200 ships out of my ally's base to defend his space. And, oh, by the way, I'm outproducing Belson by a lot. And I'm sending most of this stuff up that way. So I should be able to get that. Then I bought it myself at least 24 hours, if not more, until 24 hours from the time he realizes he forgot to declare war. I had the large 5,000 ships of my own. They were heading over. They got picked off here. A lot of these stars, a lot of these ships from Hex came to defend it. And unfortunately, Kane's team gave them weapons. So that kind of sucked. I didn't want to lose that big group, but that's still 5,000 ships that aren't attacking us. And Mac now, he's going to lose this. Nope. Now, because this Belson is actually just defending, not doing anything, I can reroute my 1,100 ships to the Han Solo replicant farm and defend Hex's attack. So Mac is actually sitting okay right now. I can absolutely defend. Mac and I can defend against Hex and Grasshopper, especially given that I can see everything, because Belson's vision gives us vision to everything. So we're probably going to lose. Let me just say we're probably going to lose. I mean, we're fighting. There's 3 of us. Greens and this yellow are fighting the whole galaxy. We are outnumbered. However, this intel, and quite honestly, their lack of moving ships to the front line, is going to hurt them. And I think we can continue to make ground. And when you look at, when you do look at the leaderboard, Yars and I are at the top now. And Bimbo, who's been at the top, I finally surpassed in industry and in science. So I'm continuing to grow, and they're not. Now, the only spot that's troubling is the center, which, by the way, Lofty is defending me as well, and he is attacking Gizny a little bit on my behalf to slow Gizny down. And so I haven't lost a damn thing in the middle. Looks like I may lose something here, but again, these are like long ass 1 day, 1 hour. I have time to defend against that. Like, I don't know if that's what I'm going to be up against. I'm feeling pretty damn good. Down here, it's a little bit more treacherous. You can see there's 3,500, 3,700, 3,800. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. I did have 2,100 that was going to help him push on Kane, but he actually doesn't need it, so I'm going to bounce them back up and to defend the center. We might be able to win this 1v2 because of our intel, because of our size, and our couple mistakes on the enemy team on mobilization of troops and not declaring war. So we're not dead yet. Oh well. A couple hours later, it turns out Belson realized that he was not at war with us and is moving his ships back. But he's running back to his base, which is kind of silly. He probably would have been better off coming at me. He is sending 600 here, and I'll be there first. I'll follow him around and blow up whatever he tries to send. Not a big concern. He's moving in his ships that were off the east side. So, and it's smart, right? Because I can't blow him up because he's allied with Mac. So Mac's going to abandon that. We're going to swap it out, and then we'll blow up to his 1,800 coming in anyway. And then we're making another little tactical play down here. That 2,100 that we're going to go to the center. Instead, I'm going to blow up 1,000 ships from Kane, and then join them on the front line with the 1,000 that survive, and we'll just continue to make our little push here. And yeah, cycle 22. The enemy's woken up. Over the last 24 hours, they really were passive, and I don't know what happened, but I was able to get in here and get like this star, Jubal, all the ones enabled Jubal. Like, I had all of these, Jubal 8. They were just pretty much AFK, and then even Belson, who's usually on it, I was able to grab here. I'm going to grab here. I was able to get this, and they apparently woke up. In addition to them waking up, Belson finally declared war on Macomber and launched 4,000 ships into the heart of his base. And yeah, so it's going to get a little hairy right now. When you look at the overall leaderboard with people that have stars, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players left, 3 of which are on my team. So right now it's really a 3v6. So if we do a quick run through of all the fronts, we have the southern front with Yars pushing in on Kane, and he will win. He's progressing, and in part because Bimbo is not supporting him. So these stars will continue to turn green. In the middle, they are basically having Bimbo send all his ships while Gisney is massing up 12,000. It's going to be almost 20,000 ships. So that's going to be basically Bimbo softening us up and him flooding in it. And it's going to be a problem for us. It's going to absolutely be a problem for us, but not much we can do other than try to, slow him down where we can. Up in the, we'll call it the old Karen stars here. They were AFK for a day, and I made some progress, but Hex is finally coming in, finally sending in his ships, and he's going to take back stars. They're going to make some progress. So I'm going to lose, when you look at the green, I'm going to lose this section here, no doubt about it. I really don't, there's one star I don't want to lose. It's, where is it? Awesome Labs, because the awesome dude built 9 science on one crappy star. Look what it takes to. Looks what it takes to. It was like 400 something with my worst terraforming, and his was worse. But anyway, so this is the front that we're going to lose, and I think I need to prioritize it the least, because as Yars takes Kane stars, he'll be able to then continue pushing in with Kane's old stars and support it as well. So he'll do that, and then you have up here where they were passive for a while and now they're on the offensive. I need to determine, do I go ahead and try to consume Macomber now or not? But I think, again, my goal is to take out Belson, take out like this corner as my top priority, so that if we basically end up turning this to the green team, even if we lose the middle, we should own more than half, and they'd be down basically to Bimbo, Gisney, and Hex, essentially. And then of which they're on different teams technically, but at this point they're working together. So yeah, that's it. It's a bit ugly. Quick intel, looking at, again, stars. We've been making progress. Economy, Bimbo's to the top, but we're the next 2. In science, he and I are at the top 2, and so are widening our tech gap. Industry, Yars and I at the top there, so we're making the most ships. It's just the fact that we're against, it's 3 on 6. So yeah, that's where we're at. Cycle 23, some major developments happened. If you recall, Lofty had a megastar here with 50 industry on it, and for whatever reason, Gisney decided he wanted that star and blew 8,000 ships and then another 4,000 ships. So he lost 12,000 ships to take this star, infuriating Bimbo and Kane. And they're like, why are you playing? You're playing passive, you're not attacking, then you're just wasting, throwing ships away. You're playing, they did not like how he was playing. And so basically Bellum, everyone, every rest of the galaxy said, we want to punish them. So here is, boom, here's all of our vision, and let's go ahead and kill them, take care of them. So we want it to be punished. Yeah, we're trying to keep Lofty alive, which is fine. And this is beautiful, because what this means is now we're actually going to work with the rest of the team to win the game over a tactically poor decision on the North's part. They argued that they needed, because Lofty was threatening that they needed to remove his massive amounts of ships, which in theory could have been true, but Lofty he was on 2 stars, or 1 star, 2 or 3. He had a lot of ships, but if they moved, he just lost everything, so he couldn't be aggressive. But that's why they felt like they needed to do something. So, yeah, that's really the gist. And so now we see what happens in the north here. The formal alliance with Belson has stopped. He did a couple of sneaky things. We're trying to finish off his insurgents here. We're defending against Hex and Grasshopper, but we're actually doing pretty well. I've been in a dogfight in this section of the map now for a while, taking stars, losing stars. But I think now that this is done, we should start to win in the north. Again, I've lost some ground here, but I'm not that much, and I've only lost 1 star in the east, so I've kind of held steady. Meanwhile, Yars continues to grow and push out and push into Kane. So when you look at the overall, leaderboard, we're already almost at 200 stars plus max. So we're like at 230 already. So we're really pretty much there. The only way we lose is if they all unite against us, and the fact that they're not anymore is big. Now, I would like to finish off Kane, and I'd like him to stop fighting us. I think that is important for us to get him out of the game, but I'm not going to die on that hill. If we just see Bimbo attacking Gizny, that's probably enough, and they'll just fall. They'll crumble. If I don't have to worry about any of these pinks, and I start getting support from Yars in this, it's over. So it's been a up and down roller coaster ride, but cycle 23 looks like the tide has turned even more in our favor. Still a lot of threatening things. We got 4,500 ships on my border that I can't answer to. Another 17 coming I can't answer to. 17,000 ships against my 1,000. Can't deal with that. They could kill me right now. Or we all kill them. It still could go either way. Cycle 24, and either I'm being played or we just won the game. To do a quick recap, we were at war with Kane and Bimbo, and the North were fairly inactive. A little bit of fighting, but remember we were 3 on 6, and they double or tripled our ship count. They easily could have beat us, but Gizny never attacked. Hex was gone for long stretches of time. Grasshopper was really slow. Belson hardly did anything. He didn't break the formal alliance with Mac for 3 days. Just super slow, and I was making some ground. And then Gizny went and attacked Lofty's really big star. Where is it? It's that 50. Oh yeah. Right. He went and attacked that star and lost about 8,000, 12,000 ships. And it annoyed the allies because they're like, you know what? Here we go again with your not playing the way we want you to play. And it would annoy me too, right? Because Kane was getting killed off. Bimbo was trying to save it, and meanwhile these guys weren't doing anything. And so finally they said, you know what? We know that we can't win now, and we don't want to reward that. And so as of today, they flipped with us. I absolutely jumped on it as soon as they said it and was like, yeah, let's do it. They said that they would give us the win. And again, there were some emotions. Some people got upset and very invested in the game, and they wanted to win, which is great that people are excited and care. But at this point, there's 9 people left alive, right? Essentially, and so whichever two teams work together is going to beat the third. And so I jumped on it. I gave Bimbo like all my tech. I gave Kane all my tech and said, let's do it. We made formal alliances. They broke their formal alliances with the North, and that's it, right? So I think that's good game. There's no way now that they can keep up. In 24 hours, they can start taking stars. To further compound the issue, Karen woke up and said, oh, let's go ahead and attack Gray. But he had offered me a formal alliance, and this is the thing, if you don't play with formal alliances, which you normally don't, it's a custom, really only in custom games, he forgot. So what happens is you pay 150 credits, and that other player has an unlimited amount of time to accept that. And if they accept it, then you're good. And you're in a formal alliance, you can break it 24-hour period for it to go away. But there's no time limit on how it sits out there pending. And so I basically took out all his stars. He had 3 left. And then I was able to take Bio's star, where he had built it up to 21 industry. And he went and tried to attack it and all the stars near it. And I just said, formal alliance, boop, click, yes. And so now we're in a formal alliance, and then he's declared war like 10 hours ago. But I have 15 hours now to respond and basically just clean them up. So all this purple, I mean, it'll be a slight annoyance, but whatever. I mean, it's 7,000 ships, but whatever. We'll kill those. We'll kill those, and that's fine. Gizny started attacking finally. Honestly, if they would have done this like 10 hours sooner, I would have lost the game. He just needed to attack. Again, like, second time they had their foot on my throat and they could have just killed me. The first time Hex made a deal to kill Lofty instead, they should have killed me then. Then they had it again where it was just the 3 of us against the galaxy, and they could have killed us again. And same thing, they just the passive play, and you got and it's the relationships, they didn't make a good, strong enough relationship. They didn't apparently communicate well with Kane and Bimbo, to the point where, like, you know what, screw it, we're not gonna work with you guys, and that's essentially what happened. So now I'm actually kind of letting some of my stars here get taken. I'm just suiciding my ships nearby into the big Lofty star to weaken them, because I actually want them to take some of these stars in the middle, because then it makes it so I can keep my formal alliance with Yars, and Yars can just take my stars. And so I'm giving up my stars in the center. I'll try to clean this up because it's a bit of a mess. I'm just being annoying over here. I'm actually using Karen to help defend for me, which is hilarious. And then I'm putting all my investments in my core stars, like, right, and then I'm just pushing up and gonna personally focus in this corner to clean this up. That being said, I don't know if we're really gonna play this out. I'm happy to. It's fine. But yeah, so again, it could be a ploy, whatever, but I think it's sincere, and I think the game's over. So maybe they quit, maybe we play it out, but yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride. Cycle 25, nothing really exciting. Game's wrapping up. You see Yars taking Kane stars. Kane is willingly giving up the stars. Bimbo has now declared war against the North. We finally had a big breakthrough in the northwest corner. Starting to take over this whole section here. We reclaimed Karen. Karen's all wiped out. A little bit of pressure in the middle still, with some big, chunky groups of ships. But again, there's just the green swarm that's coming in, and yeah, it won't be long now. Do the count on the number of stars we're at. We're already between us getting really close to being able to just end the game. Tick 26, the countdown is on. Went to American Public School, so I need a calculator to do the math. When you add up my team stars, we're at 267 of the required 278. We only need 11 more stars as a team to be able to win the game. Now, we'll probably not transfer 100% of the stars, but what that means is we are really close. And nothing's really changed. Oh, yeah, add in the Kane 11 stars. You know what? Add in the 11 Kane stars right there. Boom. We're there now. So, wrapping things up. Skipping ahead to cycle 28. Almost done. Probably 1 or 2 more cycles, and Yars will get the win, and the game will be over. And green will have engulfed the galaxy. Cycle 29. I think there's about 2 hours left. Looking at the map, I went through and I found the 3 or 4 or 5 more stars that Yars will get. I figure at this point it's so close I might as well try to get second. So I looked and I see in 8 or 9 hours Bimbo will get another star. So I went and grabbed a couple back from Yars just to win by 1 or 2. Get second by 1 or 2. And then I guess the only other thing for closure is we did promise Chicago. He was able to get his home star back. So a nice story arc ending for Chicago for sticking it out. Thank you. Thank you for McComber, who, you know, when you look at the game and you're like, oh, I didn't win. Well, he's on the winning team, and a lot of times in a 64-player game, you're on the winning alliance, and you just have to understand sometimes that you're not going to be the one positioned to win, but you make an alliance, and he played a support role here. He never left this corner for the most part. I think he had some people get out, but he was the rock that held the alliance together in the north, and had he not been this scrappy, empire that blocked off 3 different teams, he never got an opportunity to grow, but he was a huge reason in the success of the team overall. So, sometimes you just have to play that role, and McComber played that role really, really well. So I'll come back one more time just when we cross the threshold. But yeah, good game. And there it is. Game number 2 in the books. Team Graymason wins. Yars, thank you for the carry. Thank you for the sleepless nights and making sure that we get over the hump. Everyone on the team really played a huge role. McComber, Yars, myself, GB, Dark Lord was a speed bump, and even Chicago, who hung in there. So great win and great competition. It's such a different game for those that have played 64-player games where half the players go AFK. We basically had maybe 1 or 2 people that weren't really as active as the rest, but it made it for a very different game and a very fun game. So excited to win both custom games, and I'm sure that won't put a target on my back for game 3. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode, and don't forget to click subscribe for more content.